Hello from Ron of Ron Bev Retirement Journeys, and welcome to our YouTube site. We recently returned from a trip to the San Juan Islands up in the northwest part of the state of Washington, so about 2 hours north of Seattle. And we thought maybe it might be a good thing to show you how we go about making ferry reservations. You have to ride the ferries to get to those San Juan Islands. There's 4 islands: San Juan, Orcas Island, Lopez, and Shaw. And so you have to travel to the town of Anacortes, Washington, which is about 2 hours northwest of Seattle. And that's where the ferries take off from. But let me just quickly walk you through how we go about making those ferry reservations. I have my laptop in front of me here, and I just typed in Washington State Ferries, and up comes their official site. Now you can also just put in the whole address, which is wsdot.wa.gov. But when you get to this opening page, there's several ways you can go, several places you can click on. One is find your sailing schedule by route. Now we typically look the route from Anacortes to Orcas Island. That's where we normally go. You could also put any of those other 3 islands in there. The second place you can check on is save a spot for your vehicle. In other words, make a reservation. You can do that. And then the third area I'm looking at is buy tickets or passes online. And you can click on any of those to get information. There's a lot of other places you can click on: tickets, schedules, ferries, rider information, etc. And by the way, summer reservations begin, they're actually open for reservations now, but that summer schedule for the ferries begins June the 15th and goes through September the 20th. Right now, it's still spring travel. If you're planning on going to the San Juan Islands in the summer, you definitely need to make a reservation. It gets very busy in the summertime. Well, let me give you some of the cost I wrote down. If your vehicle, a typical car is under 14 feet, car and driver, that's how they tie it together. Car and driver under 14 feet is $54.30. If it's over 22 or up to 22 feet, then it's $68.15. However, if you're like me and a senior, over 65 and over, then that drops to $46.05 for a vehicle up to 14 feet, and for one up to 22 feet, it's $59.90. Then any additional passengers that are aged 19 to 64 are $16.50 each. If you're under 18 and under, it's free. I've forgotten what that feels like. And then if you're a senior, 65 and over, it's $8.25. So it goes by the car, the length, and the age of the passenger or the driver. Okay? So and you can get all that information on this website I'm talking about. And I'd encourage you to go there, explore it. When you're ready to make a reservation, you just hit the make a reservations and it'll tell you what's available. And usually there's 5 or 6, maybe 7 sailings a day to any particular island from Anacortes. And so you can think of your schedule and when you want to get to Anacortes, and you can make your reservation accordingly. I will tell you that you need to get to the ferry landing an hour beforehand. Some days, sometimes, especially summer travel, you might want to get there even more like an hour and a half early, because they do fill up. But at least an hour to assure yourself of a spot in line for the ferry. And I encourage you to make this trip and ride the ferry. It is a wonderful thing to do. And we love it. We'll go outside and just take in the views. Take your binoculars. Especially if it's summer travel and you're going to walk outside on the ferry, you can just see beautiful sights. Really, really great stuff. On the way back, you often can see Mount Baker in all of its brilliance. So we encourage you to make that trip. If you make a trip to the Northwest and to the San Juan Islands, enjoy.
Thanks for watching.